Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm your host, your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, on the mic, live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Make sure you like and subscribe it so you guys can get some notifications when we go live. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys all being safe out there. Hope you guys, got your full dose of NFL playoff football. It's been, we got a pretty good one. Nobody would have expected the Commanders to do what they did to the Detroit Lions. To be honest, I was super shocked. But overall, I'm happy for him. Happy for Jaden Daniels. He's from the Southern California area. 1,010%. Sucks for LA, the Rams. Especially with everything going on with the fires. It is what it is. But now we have Josh Allen against Mahomes, which I was hoping for. And then we have, for the third time this season, Jaden Daniels going up against Jalen Hurts. So it should be interesting. But, this is a wrestling podcast. But, we like to dabble in sports here and there. But let's focus on the main subject matter. First and foremost, we have a great show for you today. All lined up. We have our WWE Monday Night RAW talk. We're going to talk TNA Genesis. Then we're going to talk about some TNA or NXT wrestlers that are going to probably be in the WWE Royal Rumble. Just kind of throw a little flavor out there. I'm going to mention some stars. And then we're going to go ahead and jump on into, TNA, NXT, ever since they've announced their partnership. I'm going to go over a couple of points, a couple of key factors that, what does NXT have? What can they benefit from having a partnership with TNA and vice versa? In our fifth and final segment, we're going to talk about some of the greatest African-American wrestlers in WWE/WWF history. Obviously today, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to each and every one of you guys. For those who had the day off, congratulations. My child, my beautiful baby girl, she didn't have to go to school today, and she was super excited. And but she got to go tomorrow, but which is a little sad. But education's always good, definitely. Well, guys, so we're gonna jump on into the subject matter. We're gonna start, but first and foremost, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Also, hit up that super chat. Whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest here at the GSMC Sports Network. This show is all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure you guys feel like your opinions and your hot takes are taken into consideration. The GSMC Sports Network wants you guys to feel absolutely 1,010% comfortable in sharing. Don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat, which guarantees anything you guys put inside that box, hit up that $sign. It's going to be featured on the show, talked about, debated about, maybe even be a nice little segment to talk to you guys about. Also, it's a great way to support our channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do want to keep the lights on all these amazing podcasts and bring you guys awesome content that you guys love so dang much. So make sure you guys, contribute to the cause. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, it's super chat, not your thing. It's all good. Go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms, and it's all good. It's all gravy. It's already water under the bridge. Just want you guys to feel absolutely 1,010% comfortable in sharing anything you guys want to give. Get something off your chest. Give me a hot take in terms of professional wrestling. Give me your top 2 professional wrestlers at the moment. Give me who do you think is going to win at the Royal Rumble, etc., etc. All right, so we have our WWE Monday Night RAW talk. Already aware that it has aired on the East Coast on Netflix. I have not checked a single shred of social media. No TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram for any content or updates or anything. I love, going in blind. Definitely love this little talk/preview that I think that's might happen on Monday Night Raw. When I do these segments, usually I watch Monday Night Raw absolutely like right after, and sometimes I pat myself on the back. I'm like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, but most of the time, it's like, damn, that was a hot take. So, no such thing as bad takes here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. All right, we are at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. I think it's the home of the Dallas Mavericks, I believe. We have Drew McIntyre taking on Seth Rollins. This is a WrestleMania 40 rematch. Obviously, you saw Drew McIntyre defeat Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship, only for Damian Priest to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase and become the champion, thus starting his reign. And starting the jealousy buildup for Finn Balor. So, hopefully we're going to get some more of that. Last week you saw the not the I Quit match, the street fight. It was decent. It was pretty good. It was, it's a nice little way to close this feud. Because, man, this has been going on for too long. The hindering feud between Damian Priest and Finn Balor ultimately cripples the storylines that you could potentially have for Finn Balor, also for Damian Priest. So, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I think Corey Graves is going to be on the mic today. I read an article stating that I think Pat McAfee wasn't going to be able to make it because the college football final that's happening right now, Notre Dame, I think, is losing to Ohio State. We're going to find out the national champion pretty soon here. I might be able to give you guys a breaking news if you don't have access to the game or internet or anything like that. Like, I got to be honest, internet connection, it's crazy. It's crazy, especially out here in Southern California. All the fires in LA, crazy winds. I got my internet turned on earlier today, and it was just, and it's been off for, quite some time. And you talk to the cable guys, and they're like, you know what, it's happening all over the place. Don't really have an excuse for you, so we can wait. We can tell you is to be patient while they're, running diagnostics, while they're fixing the signal towers or something like that. I don't know. Technological mumbo jumbo, talking. I'm just like, kind of goes over. I'm just like, okay, yeah. So when can I use my computer? Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, sending high regards to everybody working out there to make life a little bit more simpler during these unprecedented times. But, back to Monday Night Raw. So we got the New Day taking on a mystery tag team. Right off the bat, I automatically just want to go toward, maybe something with Penta teaming up with, I don't think Rey Mysterio. Maybe somebody different. Or maybe you see a debuting tag team on Monday Night Raw. That could definitely be, it. Potentially NXT. I don't think so. A SmackDown tag team potentially making their way. Who would be a good little match against the New Day? It would be kind of crazy to see Pretty Deadly or the Street Profits. Or the Profits. I think they're the Profits now. I'm not too sure. But, it would be crazy to kind of see that happening. But I see, this as an opportunity to kind of get Penta mixed with, some of the talent that they have on the Raw roster in Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston with this new beginning, New Day that is absolutely hated by everybody. So it should be interesting to see who challenges them. We got Pure Fusion Collective going up against Damage Control. After they got this, who's going to be the inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, which is Lyra Valkyria. Congratulations, she deserves it. We're going to find out who's going to challenge her, tonight as well. Maybe she has a match at Saturday night's main event. We're also building up momentum toward that PLE happening on Saturday. Peacock streaming. It's happening on NBC streaming simultaneously with Peacock. Damn, I couldn't get that out of my mouth. That's crazy. So it should be interesting. Like I was saying, I feel like since they already kind of established this whole Intercontinental Mid-Card title thing, I hope you start seeing the Pure Fusion Collective starting to be a little bit more relative in the storyline. I definitely think with all the talent that they have there, they can definitely do that. They're going up against Damage Control. And, I don't know if it's all the PFC. I do know Kairi Singh is still out right now, but right now you have, Io Sky and Dakota Kai. Maybe they find, they pick up someone to tag team with them. Not too sure. We got John Bradshaw, Layfield returning tonight to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, super excited to see, because recently you've seen him on TNA Genesis. Even Frankie Kazarian commented online stating that he'll, since JBL kind of screwed him out of his call your shot moment that he was going to come to Monday Night Raw and cause some problems. But, maybe all kayfabe, but it'd be interesting to see Kazarian and, some, TNA, not just cross NXT borderlines, but Raw and SmackDown too. That would be absolutely, that'd be huge. That'd be huge. Sami Zayn is set to cut a promo tonight. Can't wait to see what he has to say. The direction of his character, probably something still with Seth. Maybe a match at Saturday night's main event could possibly be the notion or the booking that they're ultimately leading up to. We're also building up. We got Jey Uso taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday night's main event. Braun Breaker will defend his WWE Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus. I don't see Gunther or Breaker dropping the titles. A week essentially before the Royal Rumble. But it could happen. It could definitely happen. And, but as of right now, I'm, not really seeing anything. But, I'm waiting to find out what's going on with the Wyatt Six going up against the Final Testament. Right now, it seems like the storyline's a little, you haven't really been seeing the same momentum for Bo Dallas's group, the Wyatt Six, with their creepy, eerie promos or anything like that. So we haven't been seeing that recently. I feel like they had a little bit of momentum, and then they lost to the Final Testament, and then I think they've been disappeared off of Raw for quite some time. I think you've seen Scarlet, and of course Sister Abigail, which is Nikki Cross. You've seen them more on television more than the actual two groups, which I would, I want to see a hardcore 5-on-5 match. That'd be pretty badass. War Games, baby, War Games. I'm just kidding. No, that would never happen. But a guy can dream, right? A wrestling fan can dream. All right, guys, that's it for my Monday Night Raw talk/preview. Now we're going to get into some TNA Genesis reaction. We're going to go through results. I'm going to give you guys some, some things, that I think they can create for future, for future bookings for some of these, results. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alright, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time here on the GSMC Sports Network to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, and drama. We talk about inactive statuses and injury updates. We talk about, superstar contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We also talk about WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe button so you can get some notifications whenever we go live. All right, so without further ado, we're going to jump into some TNA Genesis. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Going in, for whether if you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest here at the GSMC Sports Network, we want you guys to know that we are all ears and we know what it's all about. Keep the conversation lively during this show, so make sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, concern, or hot take gets noticed on the air, why not use that super chat? Go ahead and hit that $, which guarantees anything you guys put inside that box, it's going to be featured and talked about, maybe even debated about on the show. Plus, it's a great way to keep the lights on all these amazing podcasts and these amazing podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure you guys consume all the sports content that you guys love absolutely free, 1,010%. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. So, your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat not your thing, it's all good. Go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But in terms of talking sports, I get it. It's all good. Sometimes we disagree. Sometimes there's going to be some criticisms. It's all good. It's already water under the bridge. It's all gravy, baby. Just want to make sure you guys feel 1,010% comfortable in sharing whatever you guys want to, what do you guys want to share? We are all ears. All right, we got TNA Genesis. It was, I watched the highlights. It was pretty great. Got to be honest, I didn't order it from pay-per-view from the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, Texas, which is kind of crazy because that's where Monday Night RAW is. Maybe we will get a crossover. Maybe. Kind of crazy. But first and foremost, we had Ashanti, the Adonis, come out and issue an open challenge after Ariana Grace, the quote-unquote liaison between NXT and TNA, basically stating that, a couple of her friends came along with her, kicking off this new partnership between TNA and WWE with a bang. Ashanti Adonis came out issuing an open challenge that was answered by Jake Something. Jake Something gets into the win column by defeating Adonis. I thought that was a good booking. That was definitely really good. I want to see more from Jake Something. He had a lot of momentum, I feel like, a couple of months ago, and it seems like it's kind of diminished. And right now, Ashanti the Adonis is, he has this romantic role with Carmen Petrovich, but, not lately, not really successful as of right now as well. So, hopefully he gets back into the win column as well. Frankie Kazarian defeats Leon Slater. Obviously, the Call Your Shot trophy. Leon Slater's, one of the future of the NXT division. I definitely would love to see him, hold the title more than Moose. I respect Moose. He's cool and all, but he's like a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight. He doesn't really represent your traditional, your average, ordinary X division competitor. You think of guys like Mustafa Ali, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel. You think about Leon Slater and, Laredo Kid. No Moose. Moose deserves to be in the TNA World Championship picture. But, Frankie Kazarian was able to pick up the dub and defeat Leon Slater. Next, we have the X Division champion, Moose, with the system. Obviously, they did pay dividends in the match against Ace Austin for that X Division championship. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, JDC all got involved. Even Alicia Edwards also got involved as well. And Moose defeats Ace Austin, which, kind of sucks out, after taking 2 spears. So, good. It was a good match. It was a good match. He held his own. Obviously, if Moose didn't feel threatened, he wouldn't have had his goons, the system, come in and basically watch his back. So, it was a good match for Ace. I liked it. Steve Macklin and Eric Young defeat the Systems, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. They've been on quite a losing streak as well. They win matches here and there, but I feel like since they are like the top heels, the System, that not a lot of people really pay attention to wins and losses because at any given moment they can just come back on top. Like, being the tag team, the TNA World Tag Team Champions once again, they're always in the mix. Always, always, always. But Eric Young, super impressive. He used to wrestle for, TNA, then he went to WWE NXT, then it was he did the thing Sanity or whatever. It was a stable when, I think it was with Nikki Cross. I could be wrong. But, I respect Eric Young. He definitely deserves some recognition. Knockouts World Tag Team Champions Spitfire retain their titles against Ash and Heller by Elegance, which is awesome. I definitely love Spitfire. I love Jody Threat. I love Danny Luna. They are basically the model of what great TNA Knockouts tag team competitors should be. I definitely love it whenever they're fighting, not people, I don't want to say that, sounds kind of weird. Competitors like Ash and Heather by Elegance, I feel like they bring the best out of each other. So then you had 4 of those girls, probably 4 of the best, TNA Knockouts on the roster, and they just basically had a great match. They had a great match. It was very entertaining. I personally thought Ash and Heather were going to pick up the victory. It's been a while since you've seen Ash by Elegance really kind of, possibly be a contender for a title. I do think along the lines, I'm not going to say in a couple of months, probably in 6 months, maybe she finds a way to become the number 1 contender for Masha Slamovich's TNA Knockouts World Championship, and then she's the one to kind of dethrone her, and then you kind of have this this era of Ash, because Jordynne Grace, I like Jordynne Grace. She was amazing. She was one of the best TNA Knockouts World Champion of all time. She wasn't really like that heel. She wasn't really your quote-unquote traditional babyface. And then Masha Slamovich came in, obviously being portrayed by Alicia Edwards. And then, then she becomes a babyface, and they win and they hug it out. And, it's been a while since you've kind of had that jerk as the TNA World Champion. Maybe they might put it on Tessa Blanchard. I'm not too sure. Maybe, but you could definitely throw Ash by Elegance in the ring as well. So, definitely think she, has the potential. She's great. Even when she was in WWE, she was highly underused and undervalued. But then, she was Dana Brooke at that point. So, Tessa Blanchard, speaking of which, defeated Jordynne Grace. Right at this point, Jordynne Grace's TNA contract is probably, at a turning point. I feel like when she dropped the title to Slamovich, maybe TNA creative was like, okay, now we're just going to start, we're going to start putting wrestlers over. And Jordynne Grace, she had an amazing, tremendous run as the Knockouts champion. So it's kind of like one of those things. I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever you have to, whatever I have to do to help these other girls, because literally they, she was kicking ass for so damn long. She recently lost against Tasha Steelz. She's recently, she's lost to Rosemary. She's lost to damn it, what's her name? I totally forgot. Totally spaced. She lost to Tessa Blanchard, but I think she's on her way to NXT. I definitely do. The NXT Women's Division is absolutely on fire, and now that NXT and TNA have a paid partnership that is super. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Awesome, unlimited, unprecedented crossovers. It's going to be great for the wrestlers, but most importantly, great for the viewers. So you wouldn't surprise me if Jordynne Grace kind of makes that jump to NXT to be a little bit more of a, than a crossover kind of person. Next, we have Mike Santana defeating Josh Alexander in an I Quit match. This match was pretty awesome. Mike Santana, Josh Alexander shook his hand at the end of the match, said that Mike Santana is, he's the standard of TNA now. He's probably going to be the next one up. I don't know when he will get another shot at Joe Hendry's title, but he's definitely one of the best. He's definitely in line of becoming the face of TNA. Josh Alexander then said he also, he quit in the ring and he's going to quit TNA. Then he was confronted by Eric Young backstage a little later saying, really, man, after all we've been through, the walking weapon now seems like he's going to be walking away from TNA, maybe to NXT, who knows. So I thought that was, pretty darn crazy. We have, we have the Hardys defending their TNA World Champion Tag Team Championships against the Rascals, and then of course, knocking on the door to that TNA NXT Forbidden Door is Fraxium, the NXT World Tag Team Champions. Pull up a chair and they sit down. It actually got a little controversial when when Trey Miguel accidentally hit Axiom. I think it was Axiom. But no, and Nathan Frazier. He was heated, man. So we're going to get them actually on Thursday on TNA Impact. Them going to, the Rascals going up against Fraxium for the NXT World Tag Team Championships. And I think it's anyone's ball game. I feel like, TNA, if they accumulate some NXT gold, I wouldn't mind that. I feel like that'd be pretty badass. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. All right, next we have Masha Slamovich fighting a Rosemary, and she was in a Clockwork Orange House Fun match. Interesting. No, and then she brought out that paddle that Abyss used to use. Damn it, do they have the name of it? I forgot what it was. Damn it. Janice. There we go. Janice. It was Janice. She hit her hard. It's crazy with all the nails and stuff. Oh God, and it even broke. But it wasn't enough. Rosemary obviously wasn't enough for her to pull up the victory. We had Masha Slamovich retain her TNA Knockouts Championship, which I'm okay with. I'm definitely okay with that, and I feel like it's for the best. Next, we have Nick Nemeth losing the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to Joe Hendry. We believe, guys, it's now in the era of Joe Hendry. And, all I got to really say is I like the spot. I feel like he deserves it. He's been on TNA. He's been the face of TNA without being the face of TNA. He did his little stint in NXT, driving up the ratings for WWE, also having wrestling fans start to acknowledge that some of the talent that they do have on TNA is, like the talent you'd see in WWE. Joe Hendry, the Scotsman, I felt like he could have been on that spot earlier. I thought for sure at Slammiversary, maybe he could have definitely won there and it would have made sense. But, the build-up at the, I feel like it's perfect. And then you saw Frankie Kazarian try to call his shot, but then it was interrupted by a clothesline from hell from JBL, who will be on Monday Night Raw, which is airing at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. So, maybe, Frankie Kazarian was upset. He took to social media and he said that he was going to get his revenge on JBL. Maybe he turns up on Monday Night Raw. Could, maybe not. But, overall, great pay-per-view. This is something that TNA definitely loved. This is what they needed. More momentum, especially heading into the 2025. Now we're going to have Joe, and let's see how long Joe Hendry could hold that TNA World Championship. I hope for a pretty long time. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about TNA NXT. We're going to talk about some wrestlers that are probably going to join the Royal Rumble for the men's and also the women's. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live on the GSMC Sports Network at 8 p.m., 11 p.m. Pacific time. But yeah, we talk about everything inside the ring, inside and outside. We talk about injury statuses, inactive statuses from superstars. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to New Japan, professional wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1,010%. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get some notifications when we go live. All right, if you just joined me, we had a pretty good couple of first segments. We talked about WWE Monday Night Raw. Then we talked about TNA Genesis, and now we're going to talk about how a couple of TNA NXT superstars will probably end up joining the WWE Royal Rumble happening in about, I think in less than 2 weeks. Like, it's right around the corner, February 1st. In Indianapolis, I believe. Yeah, Indianapolis. So definitely can't wait for that. Would love to see this crossover, this paid partnership between TNA and NXT WWE, start, kind of bleeding over to the Raw side. That'd be pretty cool. Or SmackDown. That'd be pretty dope as well. But we're gonna talk about some wrestlers that might be in the Royal Rumble. We're gonna talk about the men's and women's. Obviously, hit up that tips and donations link or that super chat whenever you guys have a hardcore opinion or want to make sure that you guys feel like your voice is heard. All right, so we have the WWE Royal Rumble. We are almost there. It's probably one of the most exciting PLEs during the calendar year for WWE, at least in my opinion. I've always loved watching the Royal Rumble. It's always been the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and then SummerSlam out of the big four. Bam. I used to like Hell in a Cell, or Elimination Chamber, but then they started doing only one special match, and I'm like, dude, why call the call the PLE a match type if you're only going to do it once? So I was like, it kind of sucks. But, definitely love the Royal Rumble. Unpredictable. Well, I feel like it's unpredictable. I love watching the Royal Rumble. One of my favorite. Me and my wife, we actually have this, we used to. But, yeah, she hasn't really been watching WWE lately. But we've always, since there's 30 superstars, we pick numbers. That's 15 people each. And then we make some bet or whatever, who does the dishes for a week or, stuff like that, stuff that couples could relate to. And, the person who drew the entrant number and they end up winning the Royal Rumble ends up winning the bet. So it's actually pretty fun. It's pretty cool. It's it keeps you on the edge of your seat because some people would come out, if I chose the number, if I chose odd numbers and then the number one was Los Garza or someone who doesn't have a good chance of winning the Royal Rumble. I'm just like, great, but it's all for fun. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this. Obviously, we have a couple of superstars that have already marked their entrance in the 2025 Royal Rumble. We got John Cena, we have Roman Reigns, we have CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and recently on SmackDown, we had the famous luchador Rey Mysterio. And, I feel like it's, this will be big. This will be big, and I feel like all of those superstars that have already declared themselves in the Rumble, I feel like they can all get title shots on their own. I feel like they could all get into different storylines by themselves. I feel like this Royal Rumble should be one of the most shocking Royal Rumbles of all time. I want to see something different. Cody won last year and the year before that. It's cool. I get it. It's all good. But I just want to see something different. A complete and utter wild card. I don't think The Rock's going to be in the Royal Rumble, but he would be a pretty good, he'd be a pretty good pick. Wouldn't surprise me. CM Punk has never won a Royal Rumble, and he's always, dreamed about headlining WrestleMania. That's one of the main reasons why he ultimately quit WWE, was because he was supposed to be in the main event spot, but then ended up fighting Triple H. But NXT and TNA, I feel like this paid partnership is going to pay off, and they bring a lot of interesting, interesting talent to the table. Roxanne Perez definitely could find herself in the WWE Women's Royal Rumble, and it wouldn't be a shock. Will she win it? I don't think so. I ultimately feel like she will start a feud with Bayley. I think I read a report that Bayley has been switched over to Monday Night Raw, which is kind of smart. It doesn't really seem like she's on the radar of Nia Jax. Well, she's always on the radar of Nia Jax because of their history But right now, just like her being on SmackDown, I think she's already kind of fought everybody. She lost to Tiffany Stratton, so. And then you saw Roxanne Perez in the crowd watching that match as well. So I think Roxanne Perez could definitely be in the Royal Rumble. Jordan Grace will enter the Women's Royal Rumble, no doubt. I feel like, she's done it before. And she doesn't have the TNA Knockouts World Championship, to be like, oh, she's not going to win because she's a Knockouts champion. I think if she does win, it would be pretty badass. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty awesome. Coming in from TNA, and she already is super impressive. But then again, she's held the title of the TNA Knockout Championship for so dang long. It would surprise me if maybe after that loss against Tessa Blanchard on Genesis, might be a nice little way to be like, okay, I'm gonna take a couple of months, take a break, take a couple months off. So I definitely think she's going to be there. Charlie Dempsey will most definitely be in the men's Royal Rumble. I believe that 1,010%. He's a young rising star. I feel like the No Quarter Cash crew I think they're going to wind up on SmackDown. It would make the most sense being on SmackDown. I feel like it'd be great. It would strengthen that tag team division, already, because you have the Motor City Machine Guns, the Street Profits, Pretty Deadly. I feel like Pretty Deadly might find themselves on Monday Night Raw, actually. And then Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, the WWE Tag Team Champions DIY, they're still on the fray as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see Charlie Dempsey, Tavion Heights, Miles Bourne, make their way onto, Friday Night SmackDown. But Charlie Dempsey, for sure, I feel like he's going to be in there. Ethan Page is literally, I feel like he's right there. I feel like after they complete this, this whole thing with Javon Evans and him hurting people like Cedric Alexander and Dante Chen, as soon as he's like, okay, Ethan, you're done, man. You're done. I feel like he's definitely going to be in the Rumble as well. Mike Santana would be an interesting fit. He defeated Josh Alexander in that I Quit match on Sunday. Or was it Saturday? I think it was Sunday. I think it was Sunday. But I think he's going to be the standard of TNA. I agree with Josh Alexander, what he said after the match. Would it be so awesome for him to join the Rumble, eliminate a couple people? You get Michael Cole fired up and Pat McAfee, and he's like, oh, Mike Santana, the rising star in TNA. Like, and he gets eliminated, you know what I mean? But not like a schmo, you know what I mean? Like, he actually goes inside the Rumble and he can, he participates and he actually, contends and, like I said, throws some people over the top rope. I feel like that would ultimately rise his stock. Trick Williams, he's looking for a direction, man. I feel like he would be pretty badass on the Monday Night Raw roster. Add a different flavor to that Intercontinental Championship bout, because right now it's just Ludwig Kaiser attacking Braun Breaker, Sheamus getting pissed and attacking Ludwig attacking Sheamus having at odds with Braun Breaker. Like, it seems like it needs a different taste. And since Jey Uso is, he lost his Intercontinental Championship, obviously, thanks to the New Young Bloodline for screwing him over, I think he's going to be in that World Heavyweight Championship contender. And, I believe it for this man as well. If Trick Williams wins the Royal Rumble, I wouldn't be shocked, actually. I wouldn't. I would, I like CM Punk. He's cool and all, but I feel like Seth Rollins' hatred for CM Punk will screw CM Punk over. Like, I feel like Seth Rollins will get eliminated by CM Punk, and then, that classic, like, and then he gets in there and he either beats the hell out of CM Punk and CM Punk goes to the back, and then he comes back, he's not authorized by doctors to come back, yada yada yada, and then he wins the Rumble that way. But Trick Williams would be pretty badass, and CM Punk has spent a lot of time on NXT. Obviously, he was a special guest referee for that match against Ethan Page, but it was it wouldn't be surprising. Rosemary, I think Rosemary will be in the Women's Royal Rumble. I just do. I don't know why. She's already crossed the line before, so why not again? Frankie Kazarian, he's already been in one Battle Royal last year to determine that number one contender for then champion Trick Williams' title. But no, I think he can definitely be a part of the Royal Rumble as well. Josh Alexander, recently said he quit TNA. Maybe he quits TNA and he's going to wind up in WWE. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if he reached a different contract yet with TNA. I know for a long time they were kind of negotiating back and forth. But, wouldn't surprise me to see him enter the Royal Rumble. Tony D'Angelo as well, the NXT North American champion, would add a little bit of spice to that, a spicy meatball. I'm just kidding. That was very stereotypical. I'm sorry. No, but it'd be pretty cool to see him in the Rumble. Jada Parker definitely will be in the Women's Royal Rumble match. I feel like she does deserve better. I feel like she could be on top of a division, especially on SmackDown. This woman as well, Lash Legend, super freaking impressive. Those two girls are honestly on my radar. Stars to watch rise in the WWE in the year 2025. So make sure you guys keep an eye on that. Sol Ruka in the Women's Royal Rumble. She's not going to win, but I feel like, she would add a little bit of, she'd add a different attitude, a different personality, a different spice to it. I feel like that would be pretty badass to see her join. Masha Slamovich, the TNA Knockouts champion. You saw Jordan Grace do it when she was champion, and she was she was at an NXT show. I think it was last Tuesday. I think it was. So it wouldn't surprise me if she winds up in a Royal Rumble. That'd be pretty badass. And of course, although he did recently win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on Genesis, this guy's just big in the wrestling world. Absolutely big. I can imagine Triple H and Shawn Michaels talking to Hendry and be like, you know what, yeah, you're not going to win, but, you're going to come in, you're going to show them what, you're going to be the face of TNA. You're going to show them what kind of stars they have in the men's division, and you're going to eliminate some guys. I think he'll be Final 5 or Final 4, and he'll probably get tossed out by, like, CM Punk or Roman Reigns or something like that. Would be pretty interesting, though. And I think it would be very beneficial for the WWE and Joe Hendry for that to happen, for him to be part of the Royal Rumble. All right, guys, so you do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our fourth segment. We have how NXT and TNA can both benefit from each other. We're going to dive into that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas. We talk about inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings amongst superstars. We also talk about promotions like WWE to AEW to TNA to game-changing wrestling to Deathlock Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys, Superman punch that like and subscribe button and get some cool notifications when we go live. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about how NXT and TNA can both benefit from each other. Let's go ahead and dig on into that. Recently read an article on it was on Last Word on Sports. Great website, great website. I definitely love checking out some stuff then. But they had this article, 5 ways TNA can gain from their partnership with NXT and vice versa. And honestly, what can TNA gain from their partnership with WWE? They said I read reaffirming the TNA X Division Championship. They're back to their heyday. And when you think about this, you can't help but to think that this makes sense. There's so many times where even before this crossover happened, and I was just an NXT and TNA fan at the same time, I would watch Dante Chen and Cedric Alexander. Also, I'd watch Javon Evans as well, and I'm like, damn, like these guys can be like, if they're in TNA, they'd be in X Division. They'd be a great X Division competitors. So I believe that 1,010%. I do think that this would be a great way to kind of revamp this X Division glory. You saw Riley Osborne. He also competed for the X Division Championship. You can see like guys like Miles Bourne, Tavion Heights, even Charlie Dempsey. You can see these guys, be in that X division, because it seems like right at this point, the North American Championship, it seems like, Tony D'Angelo, he's, bigger, strapping kind of guy. It would make more sense for guys like Moose and Hammerstone to go and try to, contend for that title as well. But, I definitely think it'd be pretty cool. TNA Knockouts, Renaissance. The women's division in NXT is the best in professional wrestling, hands down. You can disagree with me all you want. Obviously, I appreciate every view, but I feel like the women's division in NXT is huge. It's absolutely huge, and it could potentially bleed over to the Knockouts. And it just, maybe you could have someone like Sol Ruka, maybe can Izzy Dame go over there, like. They could definitely they're at that point where they can share talent. They can definitely share talent. If you look at TNA right now, who do you really have to contend for the TNA Knockouts World Championship? Of course, Jordan Grace always there. Masha, the champion right now. Tessa Blanchard returned. But after that, I don't really see much. Like, I don't really see that much. I could be missing a couple of names, like Ash by Elegance potentially. But then, you think about women who can contend for the NXT World Championship, NXT Women's World Championship, then Roxanne Perez, even, Cora Jade could definitely, you have Stephanie Vaquero, you have Zarya, you have the champion now, you have Julia, and even Kaylani Jordan could definitely throw her name in the mix as well. So, it's going to be great. It's going to be really big, and I feel like the TNA Knockouts division and the X division would benefit heavily from this partnership. TNA wrestler, needs to win an NXT championship. I agree 1,010%. If you're going to have Nathan Frazier and Axiom eventually make their way to Raw or SmackDown, where I feel like at this point they should be. They defeated every team on the NXT brand. Now they're getting a taste from, the Rascals on on TNA. If the Rascals, they dethrone Fraxium, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. And I would not be mad. I would not be upset. I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it'd be great to have an NXT title on TNA. And, you see them, you have them paraded around, not like a territorial thing, but, they're like, hey, another championship. It works. It definitely works 1,010%. So it wouldn't surprise me. Eyes on pay-per-views. This is a big one. TNA has flourished ever since, they had this crossover with NXT. Slammiversary was a hit. Bound for Glory was the most successful TNA pay-per-view it's had, I feel like, in its company's history. And, I feel like they just need to keep that momentum going. And think about it. Returning of old faces. Like, you can have, who knows, maybe like an AJ Styles, returns to TNA. That would be pretty cool. Xavier Woods makes his way back to TNA. Who knows? So it'd be interesting that they kind of have those, they have those possibilities open as well. And I think Abyss, he does something with NXT, I believe he does. Him making his way to end of TNA, like a little, just like a nice little cameo. I feel like that would be pretty damn cool. Kind of like an Undertaker, during WrestleMania season, you know what I mean? I feel like that'd be pretty badass. Now, ways NXT could benefit from TNA. Various learning trees. The NXT superstars really, honestly, are homegrown superstars. They come to the NXT brand. Recently you have WWE with this developmental program, the next in line, the NIL, the independent wrestling. I feel like that's great. That could definitely be great. But you have so many veterans on TNA, like it's ridiculous. Just looking right there, you had Saban, you had Moose, you had Macklin, you had Alexander. You have all these guys that's been there for so damn long that they can kind of show you the ropes a little bit. So, you could, and then vice versa too. TNA, some NXT, they get visited by, The Rock or, Shawn Michaels or CM Punk visits. And you got Booker T there also, to coach me up, man. Coach me up. Make me into a champion. Make me better. Make me a better person. So I definitely think that is, one of the benefits. Another one is a WWE NXT wrestler wins a TNA championship. Right off the bat, I can't help but to think maybe you see Jakar Jackson and Lash Legend, defeat Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jody Threat. Although I do love myself some Spitfire, but, metaphor right now, they're on fire. They're absolutely on fire. One of the best tag teams in the women's division on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. So, if they make their way onto TNA and, get those knockouts tag team championships, I wouldn't be mad at that. That'd be pretty damn cool. Next, we have the Hardys Farewell Tour. They will wrestle one last match in the WWE. This is kind of a nice little, promotion, a nice little, okay. I feel like they have one more WrestleMania in them, but I feel like that's it. I feel like it would be kind of like a one and done thing. I would be surprised if they did get a tag team title run in NXT. Would surprise the crap out of me. But, it could happen. And I, definitely wouldn't hate it. NXT alumni could possibly return to, could return from TNA. Obviously, was it Callahan? Mustafa Ali as well. That'd be pretty badass to see Mustafa Ali come back into WWE. That'd be pretty badass. Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, Matt Cardona. You have all these former WWE superstars that it would be cool. It would be amazing to see them cross that line. It'd be pretty badass. And the fifth and final one I got, let the big man flex. In NXT, you have big guys like Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo. But after that, I can't really think of anybody that could really contend with those two guys. On TNA, they have Hammerstone. They have, PCO. They also have, AJ Francis. And they do have, they have Moose. They can have like a super heavyweight division. I feel like this would be great. I feel like it'd be pretty awesome for NXT to introduce like a new belt, like a super heavyweight. I doubt they would do it, and to be honest, I would kind of advise against it because I feel like right now it's working pretty damn well. So I don't know. I feel like overall, like I said, it's amazing for the wrestlers for exposure, and it's going to be great for wrestling fans. All right, guys. So hey, do not go anywhere. My next segment, Happy Martin Luther King Day. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about Martin Luther King's legacy, go off script a little bit, away from wrestling, but then we're going to talk about some of the greatest African-American, wrestlers in WWE history. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere. All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. I talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage, curtain calls, rumor, and dramas. I talk about, injury statuses, I talk about, inactive superstars as well, their contract negotiations, their extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions like AEW to WWE to New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling. We talk about it here on this show 1010%. All right, so without further ado, let's jump on into our fifth and final segment. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Those who had the day off, awesome. That's pretty cool. Those who don't, you just, nothing bad about, working. You get to come home, relax, chill. Something to look forward to. Good to watch Monday Night Raw. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about a little bit about MLK first, and then we're going to hit on some of the historic African-American professional wrestlers. Obviously, you guys all gone to grade school. You guys know who this man was. Really, just an amazing person. Just an amazing person, a historical figure. obviously, he assassinated sucks. Usually all the good people. Usually all the good people go. But this day, obviously, was established to, honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and to encourage all Americans, which should be everybody, to volunteer to improve their communities, be nice to one another, obviously treat other people like you want to be treated. Obviously to mark the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was the chief spokesperson for a nonviolent activism in the civil rights movement, which protested racial discrimination in federal and state law. Life before the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Obviously, at that point, you had the Jim Crow laws that legalized segregations. African Americans would have to sit in the back of the bus. Separate drinking fountains, restrooms, and dining areas. That's just so crazy. So crazy. There used to be a time where there was so much hate, in the world. But there's I would say as a society, like we've gotten better, by doing all that. Which I do think we've gotten a little bit better. But then maybe my wife always tells me I always think the world is full of rainbows and unicorns, and it's like sometimes you don't see the big picture. And I'm like, what? Like no, but like I understand. Still to this day, there's obviously still. There's still, racism, bigotry at large and stuff like that. Hopefully, we can take a step in the right direction and, just kind of be nice, be kind to one another. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it could be, politics this, politics that, and trying to shy away from politics here in this podcast. But at the end of the day, if you want something to change, you got to come together with your fellow man. And, you gotta work together, as much as I might like the other person, you know what I mean? But it should never be based on, never based on looks, ethnicity, cultures, and, all that stuff. But, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Brown versus the Board of Education, which held that racially segregating public schools were unconstitutional. Well, yeah, absolutely 1,010%. Like, it's, once again, like, if you want a better society, they have to receive an education. It's, equal equity could definitely be met in the same sentence. But, it's just something that we need to further the our communities. I don't know. And that overall sparked the civil rights movement. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But obviously, got to respect the man, Martin Luther King. He had one of my favorite quotes of all time. I think it was, if you have nothing to die for, then you have nothing to live for. And I definitely, I love that. There's a couple of other quotes that I, love to ultimately, kind of refrain to once when I'm like, I need some motivation. Martin Luther King he was an amazing public speaker. Man, that guy could speak. I would definitely, give me a class, man. Give me a class. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so we have, we have historic African American wrestlers that were in WWE. Some of the best, black wrestlers. First, we got to go with Jazz. Like, obviously, I might miss a couple of names here, and I am running short of time. So, if you have a couple of, historic African American wrestlers that impacted your life, make sure you guys hit it up in the chat. But Jazz in the women's division, this girl was absolutely dominant. I remember nobody really could beat her. She was like, not like the Awesome Kong, you know what I mean? Like when she was kicking ass on TNA. I think she did AEW too. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But, Jazz was pretty badass. She was pretty cool. Obviously, this man, Ron the Truth Killings, I remember when he debuted in WWE, I think he was K-Quick. But no, just his overall persona outside the ring and inside the ring, it's just, he's a good watch. He's a funny watch. You can bet that, and you can see that all the wrestlers in the back definitely, love and respect him. They have nothing but good things to say about Ron. But, no, he kicks ass. Devon Dudley, one half of the Dudley Boys. Man, this guy basically shaped my my attitude toward tag team wrestling. Him and Bubba Ray. Definitely the Dudley Boys, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. And even now, I think he's doing wrestling promotions. I do think so. I don't know if he's podcasting right now. I know Bubba is, or Bully Ray. But, I think I saw something on Instagram it was like a wrestling promotion that it came to like Lake Elsinore. I live in the Southern California area. And I think he was running it. So, it would be kind of cool to kind of see him, maybe get him on the show. All right, we got Ron Simmons, Farouk, before he was teaming up with Bradshaw, kicking ass and taking names. Obviously, he's one of my favorite wrestlers because he's just simply amazing. Remember, the Nation of Domination was pretty badass. Then in his later career in wrestling, the whole damn thing was pretty funny. Was pretty cool. It's always good to see him make a cameo on WWE. Always a pleasure to see Farouk there. And Booker T, the five-time WCW champion, World Heavyweight Champion, King of the Ring. This guy really came to WWE, and he did it all. It did take it did take some time. He took some BS, man. Took some bullspit. Once when WCW was accumulated by WWE, you saw a lot of WCW wrestlers kind of get trashed and buried. And I feel like they tried doing that to Booker. I remember watching a promo where Triple H was basically saying that, hey, who are you? Basically downgrading the career that Booker T had alongside his partner Stevie Ray and the Harlem Heat. And, him winning the WCW championship on the last episode of Monday Night Nitro. I think he beat DDP or Scott Steiner. I think it was one of those guys. But, definitely, Booker T's up there. Naomi, she's wrestling royalty, obviously. She's with Jimmy Uso. But she's always nice to have on television. Once when her and Sasha Banks left the WWE due to, creative character issues, it sucked. I was like, dude, I kind of like Naomi around. I would love to see her turn heel, though. I got to be honest. Jacqueline, the former WWE Women's Champion, she was pretty badass. I remember watching her with Ivory, Holly Molly, one of those. I think it was the Luna Vachon too. She was there. Terry Runnels, Sable. There's a lot of old school divas. Well, women's wrestlers that man, if you put them inside the ring, it seemed like they could throw hands, man. Obviously, back then it was different times, and I know you guys are all probably thinking Attitude Era, you had your standard promos and bra and panty matches and stuff like that, and you're just kind of it didn't really take until I think it was Fit Finley who was training, Lita, Trish Stratus, all those girls. To kind of be he kind of brought the attention to Vince McMahon. And he was like, hey, these girls could actually wrestle if you guys want to actually see them wrestle, instead of just being the entertainment, not an entertainment factor that, that's not kind of being just like a pretty face to look at or something like that. Instead you can actually have these women, kind of have a division, and you see right now in NXT, you see mostly all women's matches, and they bring eyes to the product. Back then it wasn't really like that, which sucks. But I'm happy that it finally, they finally got the respect. Shelton Benjamin, one of my favorite wrestlers from Orangeburg, South Carolina. I remember when he debuted with the Greatest Tag Team with Charlie Haas, with Kurt Angle. He's one. I remember I got a wrestling toy of him, and he was just I don't know. He's just my favorite. He'd win all the time. All the time. It pissed my brothers off. He'd be like, oh, what is your toy win all the time? Just kidding. No, that never happened. I'm just kidding. No. No, it was cool. It was cool. And Shelton Benjamin, one of my favorite. Mark Henry, too, the world's strongest man. I remember him, too, as Sexual Chocolate. He was part of the Nation of Domination as well. He was pretty awesome. Bianca Belair, getting into more recent times, she has been, and she's going to be, definitely a WWE Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. The EST of WWE, she still has some championship reigns left in her. Also, the New Day. The New Day, it sucks that they broke up. I really do. It kind of does suck. But Big E, ever since being injured, now you kind of have this New Day, new beginning kind of, I just hope that they just don't, lose all the time. If you break them up, it better be for something. I want to see these guys win the tag team championships. Maybe Xavier Woods finally gets his push. Maybe he gets a Intercontinental Championship reign or something like that. Because he has talent. He's very, very talented. I feel like he could win the big one, but it would be like a David versus Goliath kind of story. And I feel like with this storyline as him as a heel doesn't really fit. Unless you have somebody like Jey Uso win the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther at WWE Saturday night's main event, and then Xavier Woods, bam, number one contender, maybe it could happen. Bobby Lashley, one of my favorite wrestlers. Obviously, a very success. Well, he's a lot of success outside WWE. And I'm not saying he didn't have success in WWE, but WWE they didn't really know what to do with him. Definitely, a rising young enough. He's a star, and they let him slip through his fingers, much like Ricochet. And now he's on AEW right now. Him and Shelton Benjamin are going to fight for the AEW Raw Tag Team Championships. I'm not really in love with that because I wanted to see him in the main event picture, the World's Heavyweight, the AEW World Championship. But right now they're doing the storyline with Moxley. But no, I would love to see him, be bigger and better in AEW. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. Right now she has all the gold. She's accumulated all the gold in AEW. Definitely love and respect her, but right now she's just man, you're winning too much, man. You're winning too much. In the women's division in AEW, I feel like it's kind of suffering because she has a strong hold on both those titles, the TBS Championship and the New Japan Women's Strong Championship. And now she has two more that she recently accumulated from Mina Shirakawa at Wrestle Dynasty, which it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Kamala, this guy was I wasn't old enough to watch him yet. Obviously, you check out wrestling magazines, you see Kamala, you see the Junkyard Dog as well, and you're like, oh man, these guys, I don't think the Junkyard Dog ever won a championship. I'm not too sure. I gotta fact check that one, but definitely love and respect that. The Rock, gotta mention The Rock. African American and Samoan wrestling dynasty right here. Definitely successful, super awesome. And there's Babo Brazil along with his partner Edward Bearcat Wright. He was the first ever NWA African American champion. He's won 52 titles across 14 promotions. He's often been compared to the Jackie Robinson of professional wrestling after he came along. Kind of help unsegregate professional wrestling and stuff like that, because during that time it was everywhere and it was bad. It was absolutely terrible, 1,010%. It's just crazy how everything that's just I guess like I said, I hope better as a professional wrestling, better as a society. It's just crazy how once upon a time America basically shut black people out and refused to recognize their rights, their basic human dignity and identity, and just their very own lives. Like it's crazy. I just pray for the world to get better. That's definitely keeps me going. All right, guys, thank you for following me with this show. Hopefully you guys had a good time. I had a good time. Definitely remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter /X, Facebook, and TikTok for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have football podcast, basketball, all around sports, college football. We had Ohio State win the national championship, so congratulations to the Buckeyes. But yeah, make sure you guys check out all the other guys' podcast as well. So like I said, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys are gearing up for a safe week. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, absolutely love you guys 1,010%. But let's all remember today, MLK Day. Hope you guys had a great one. So I will definitely see you guys live on Wednesday. Definitely check back for the GSMC podcast, podcasting network and sports network on YouTube, so you guys can catch up on your latest GSMC content. Have a good night, and of course, I love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit.